Cool. Okay, so let's get started. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the second workshop in our September workshop series, which we're holding in place of our usual opportunities for African makers at Studio Styles. Oh, in Africa, but newsletter is at Studio Styles. For this workshop, we have Benita Nnachortam, and Benita is the founder of Kuta Arts Foundation in Abeokuta. She is also currently doing a master's, an MFA in photography, and has a master's in art administration from the School of Arts Institute in Chicago. Cool. But I'll let her now introduce herself and then her work and whatever comments she has on all the questions that you guys have raised, posed while you were registering. And then we can enter a Q&A. Benita, over to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hey.
Oh, all right. Let me try and use my head.
Okay. In the meantime, we can't hear you.
Hear me yet?
No, we can't.
I'll just need to change my settings so it's better. Good evening, good afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're calling.
Good evening.
Good day to you. I think I hear you all from here. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
All right. Just want to say, I think this is a safe space. So if you feel like sharing your video, please feel free. It will make me feel less alone here. I'm a little bit cold. I'm wearing shorts. It's like 17 degrees. So yeah, with my kind of shaky voice. I'm not nervous. I'm just.
I feel that.
All right. I'm really excited to meet you all and connect with you. And I think we all kind of know each other a little bit. I have less than an hour to be here, so I'm going to kind of try to get us zoned in before this meeting ends. My big hope is to answer most of the questions that came up previously. Please bear with me. In school, so on the other side of where I'm at right now are my classmates, and they're on break time. And so, yeah, I am on break time. So this is the time that I have to chat. But yeah, I can't tell them to shut up because, yeah, and I can't go too far because then I'll miss the meeting. Yeah. We just finished an activity. We just finished an activity, and yeah. You're welcome. When we chose this date and time, things weren't scheduled this way, but it just kind of happened. So happy to meet you all. And firstly, I'd like us to start by kind of addressing the elephants in the room, but not really in the room, in the elephant in the room of your mind right now. I can go ahead and give and kind of lead, but what's the big elephant in the room that might be preoccupying you from being focused in this moment right now? And whatever that is, I'll just like you to type that in the chat. Also write why you're here, why you're really here, really. Okay. So I'll start. My elephants. I'm typing in the chat and feel free to join me.
Typing us. Amen to the hope. Amen to the hope. I spent yesterday crying. And I'm hopeful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna do this exercise for like our first 2 minutes, and I'm just kind of like giving us a chance to share in the chat what our elephants are and why we're here. I'm reading from the top. So Immaculata, I hope I say your name the way you like it. So Immaculata says, the elephant in my head right now is the fact that my reminder email declined. Okay. Yeah, that can be annoying and embarrassing. And I'm here because I want to learn from other young people like me, building things in the arts and culture sector on the continent, to feel less alone and feel more encouraged. I feel that, and I'm with you like 200%. I shared mine, and I can say it out loud. Mine is that I cried this morning, but I'm staying hopeful. Maybe it's just my hormones. Maybe life is actually crazy, and I have to just deal with it. Yeah, I'm staying hopeful and being grateful for the blessings I can count. And I'm here because I hope to really connect with optimists, people who, despite the economy in Nigeria and everywhere else in the world, still are thinking about art and culture, obviously. I'm hoping to connect with you all who are intentional about being here and wanting to create spaces for artists and to thrive. Amanda, you come share why you're here and tell us your elephant. Mary, there's the elephant. Yeah.
Your sound is echoing from my end, but I don't know if it's just me. Like it just started.
Okay.
Not just like
Okay. Try turning off your like try going on mute and then see if it's still echoing.
Still is. Still
Am I?
is.
Okay.
Yeah, still is echoing.
Yeah, I think it's echoing for everyone from your end. And
Gotcha.
it just started happening. It wasn't like that.
Okay. How about now?
Still.
It's still echoing, really?
Okay, now it's better. Chill. That was good. This is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amma, do you want to give us a second opinion?
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine now.
All right, I changed the setting. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So we have. I'll try to wrap this up. So Mary says, I feel stuck as an artist. That's the elephant in the room. I understand why I'm here to have answers to questions I'm not even sure of. Okay.
Well,
and Dupe says, the noise in this coffee shop. Sorry about that. And she's curious about what it takes, or he is curious about what it takes to cultivate a community rooted in a loving attention to Nigeria and the wider world. Struggling this day with being a creative in corporate. Please just remember that you have to eat and you have to pay your bills. Hang in there and make that money for us. At least if you don't create, you can buy one of us work. That's for Amanda. I'm here because I trust Ima's programs and admire Benita's work. Oh, thanks. And I hope to learn from you all. Zana, because you guys have like interesting names. I don't know where you're from. Like you all have beautiful, cool names. I love it. Zana's very like I've never seen that in my life. And like Immaculate Abba, who has Immaculate and Abba in the same, like it's just a whole prayer. And Amanda Madumere might actually be an Igbo name. It's like
I think it
someone
is.
made, and like that's like talking about creativity in itself, like the making of a thing. Okay, I think I'm now digressing because I'm enjoying this too much. Maybe this is the session. All right, okay, so we have a couple more. Struggling this day with being a creative and sorry. My offense is that it's raining heavily here and it's too loud, a bit distracting. Sorry about that. But hopefully I'll try and speak up, and if you can watch your screen when we're sharing screens, that would be nice too. Chukwumerogo, please speak or do what you want to do while I cough.
Chukwumerogo, was that by mistake? Because your hand is down now. I can't see your hand. Oh, okay.
All right. So Zena is here to hear the challenges often faced when building art institutions and how those challenges can be handled. Ome Sinclair, my room and sitting room is occupied. And I have to join in the kitchen, and now I'm worried that my phone may be too close to the console. I understand. That's my mom too. I'm here because I'm excited to hear Benita answer the appreciate questions. There's so much I want to learn. I really want to get into that, and I'm going to start with a slide right away. So I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Thank you for participating, and those of you who did not participate, it's okay. At least on the positive side, we have more time to get down to business. But last person who actually shared Adobe Chinelo. So we're making dinner and it's raining. I'm here to learn about building art communities and institutions. Okay. I might be wrong, but I'm beginning to guess that a lot of us here are tuning in from the eastern part of the country because that is raining in most of us' area, which is interesting. All right, so part of my arms, and I don't know, I actually do podcasts, and yeah, I should be a better like speaker, but whatever. So Kuta Arts Foundation, I'll keep it real, y'all. Like, I was a 22-year-old who moved into Abeokuta in 2016, right? I moved in, and before 2016, I was born and raised in Lagos, but I mean, being born and raised anywhere, it doesn't really change much until you like get to the adult stage and you can actually explore the city as a grown-up human being, looking at the things that you're actually interested in. And so for me, like in 2014 or 15 or so, in what am I saying? Like maybe 2014, actually, the year that I graduated from undergrad. Yep, I'm an old lady. I just turned 30, so now I feel like I can say I'm old and actually be like legit, like I'm old. Anyway, so the year I finished from undergrad, I followed my curiosity, right? I started photography while in school. I was doing international law and diplomacy, and the year that I finished, I was following my curiosity when I saw someone like moving an artwork on my street, and I was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And I went to like this stranger's house, and I was like, "Oh my god, I hope he does not kidnap me because this man looks weird." But whatever. Long story short, it led to a job with an organization that organized like things for workshops for kids to learn how to make films with their phone, and it was like at Freedom Park, which is like the most artsy place ever. And from like my very first day, I had like a roundtable meeting with this man's friends that like, kind of like introduced me to this job, and
you know, I met all these people, and I met some of like the amazing artists of our time. Like one amazing writer, Akweke Emezi, she was sitting like right next to me. Until today, I want to have a tattoo so bad, and but I won't, because I'm like a conservative Christian girl who wants to be good forever. So anyway, I yeah. I also was sitting beside Emeka Ogo, OGPOH. So if you don't know Akweke Emezi, I'll just quickly Akwa Eke Emezi. Okay, so I have not read her books because I think it's too much for me and it would actually influence me, so I avoid it. But I think she's awesome. This is Akweke Emezi, and this is Emeka. Yeah. So imagine sitting beside these two people, and the person who took me there was Chris Ahana. So he's this like amazing, like oh no, I don't know what this is. Okay, so he's like this amazing photographer who does awesome things and he actually runs an artist space in Lagos. You should totally check it out. I think it's called Ecolo Studios or something like that. He's awesome. He has a space in Lagos right now. So basically that was like my introduction into the art scene, and then from then I met really great people. Beyond that, I moved to Port Harcourt for youth service in 2015, right? And I got to know about Boys Quarters Project Space. Boys Quarters Project Space is by this Boys Quarters Project Space in Port Harcourt. It's by Ken Sarawiwa's daughter, Zina Sarawiwa. I'm sorry, I should just say Zina Sarawiwa, but yeah, it's by Zina Sarawiwa, and yeah, she's awesome too. So I used to go there a few times. Let's just say, I mean, in Abuja, I was in Abuja also after that, and I like in early 2016, I'd just been around art spaces, and so when I moved to Abeokuta in October of 2016, it was just so suffocating to not find an art community to like kind of like just coexist with and like be with and connect with. And I was working at the governor's office and pretending to be like very professional, like serious, like be a serious human being, whatever. But I was just really like an artist with a photographer that was really good at it, that made it to working for a governor in Ogun State. And so for me, I was like, I need to find my people. I need to find people, to connect with. And it did not exist, so we had to create one. Long story short, right? So this is what we do at Kuta. We're a non-profit. We do amazing things. I can leave this PDF for you, or you can check out our website, and see the kind of things that we do. I feel like our Instagram is actually much better than our website, but yeah. That's Kuta, and yeah, check us out so you can know more about it if you don't already, but I'm assuming you already do. And some of the things that we started out doing was just focusing on like visual arts, performance arts, literary artists. We just wanted like creative people, but we also attracted like tech enthusiasts and people who were into politics and other kinds of movements that weren't like pure artists. And it was great. It was just a community of young creative people. But eventually we focused more on arts because the leaders of the organization were more of artists. When I say leader, I really mean me, because my other co-leaders were more of like one was into tech, the other person was into like business development and so on. But right now, two of them are one of them is working on a film or like a music video, which means he evolved to being an artist. So it's interesting. Like we're all artists at heart, I guess. And so yeah, our early community meetups, so them IBK and Kayode, they were one of the first people to like just hear things out. Like we'll just schedule a meeting at a restaurant or something and like draft that idea and be like, yo, we need to like do stuff and make people meet. And we did not have a space, so we initially, like right here, we were meeting at the back of a restaurant. So this is a restaurant called Woke City in Abeokuta, and we would just like meet at the back of the restaurant. I'm the kind of person who was like, I was so like insistent that it had to work. So whatever the case was, even if it wasn't ideal, we would make it work. If we had to meet at 2 a.m., if we had to sleep in each other's houses to have a meeting, to somehow like connect our ideas, we would do it. So that's kind of how it existed, because I was working full-time in government, and like the only way I could make time was at odd hours most days.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and we went on to do awesome things year after year after year. And it's been a surprise that we are still existing, but we are surprising ourselves. And Kuta is made up of people who actually want it to exist. So it's not really about me having an awesome idea and like doing all this amazing stuff. No, it's Kuta exists because there are other people who say it should exist. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to really put the spotlight on our amazing team of like staff and volunteers that make the work happen, right? And we also have people who have lots of dreams. We really want to expand beyond Abeokuta and Ogun State. We're trying to partner with like art institutions, sorry, just universities, like universities and students in universities, and artists and art enthusiasts who are like in other parts of the country. And so we're attracting them through like our residency programs and so on. And our bigger goal, like we drafted this since 2017, and this is 2024. Like this is a very old model where we just kind of like sat down in that restaurant that I shared earlier. You know, we just sit down at a table drafting things and meeting like crazy people. But yeah, this was something that we drafted. Like we really want to have an art center. We really want to have a space where we can call our own. And so we're still working towards it. And there are other things we also dreamed of, like having a festival called Atinuda Festival, an annual festival that gathers artists and does these awesome things and so on. And yeah, this is our social media page and so on. And but I'm going to proceed, not having given that intro, I'm going to proceed to like answering some of the questions that were asked, or like saying more by answering the questions that were asked, if that makes sense. So give me 1 minute to pull up. Yep, it's right
I can have
here.
no
Okay. So let's start with the first one. What important factors do art foundations like Kuta consider when reviewing residency or grant applications from visual artists? And how can an applicant stand out? Sorry, if you ask this question, can you kind of like, okay, maybe it's supposed to be private? Okay, so I'll just answer it anyway. Because I wanted to like skip the questions where the people were not actually here to listen, but it's being recorded, so I'll just go ahead. So grant applications, it's a different workshop on its own. Like I'm still working on my own. Like I still get rejections from applications. So like all of us are going to see the shege together. You can never have it completely finalized. You will keep working on your application materials till the day you say you either die or you stop living, or like
word.
you just give up and say, I'm not doing this anymore. This is my final. But as far as you're growing and evolving every other day as an artist, you make new work, you put it up on your wall, you keep creating. Then your portfolio, your artist statement, your application materials have to keep updating, and you need to refine it. Besides the opportunity you can access today, let's say today you're interested in Kuta Arts Foundation in Abeokuta, Nigeria. Tomorrow you might be interested in Gasworks London or something like that, and you want to go there. Or another time you're interested in this residency in India. So you have to keep like, refining it and trying to meet the standards of this new place that you are applying to. And sometimes don't take it personal when you get no's, because it's not really about you. It's I know how that sounds, but a lot of the people who are selecting kind of have their own bias and their own interest. And sometimes we just have to keep knocking on doors until we find the door that is for us. That's just kind of how it is. So Just putting that out there, because I still collect, like I get rejection letters and so on. We have to keep going. And if I share my portfolio, like I have a portfolio right now, but if I share it with some other people, they would give me feedback that's like, oh, you need to change this and change that. So let me just say, if you are doing nothing at all, at least do this. Understand what a standard artist CV should look like, right? And so update your CV to be like that. Understand that your work is great, but when you're applying for a residency, you're applying for grant applications or anything, any opportunity you're applying for, teaching position as an artist, whatever you're applying for, they don't know that work. They've not held it, they've not seen it, they don't understand it from your perspective. And so the work is only as good as you document it. There's an artist, sorry, I'm trying to remember his name, but this is one line. Yeah, Kanupa Hanskaluga or Chanupa Hanskaluga. Kanupa makes sculptures, right? And he said he realized he makes sculptures, he does performance art, he does all sorts of like amazing things. And he said he realized at some point that, oh, more than just like being an artist for himself, like being a really good artist or being really good at what he does, like maybe 50% of the time, the work that he needs to really be good at is being a good photographer, being a good filmmaker. So like as artists, no one tells you, but you also have to be like a really good photographer for your work. Like yeah. So that's something. So pick up those skills, like get standard images, get the best light, put it in the best way, install it in the best way that you can, take it outside of the corner of your room, find an empty space, paint a wall on the street, I don't care, like just find some way for it to be like presented in an interesting way, and then take that good picture and add it to your portfolio. Don't just take like the don't just zoom in on the work alone. Install the work as well, because that's also part of it, I guess. That's what I'm learning from being in school, I guess. So next question. Please, could you walk us through? And also, Immaculata, I'm not poaching. I'm just keeping it real, right? We sometimes would organize like portfolio review sessions or artist statement sessions and things like that for artists. And if you follow us at Kuta Nigeria and you see some of those workshops come up, I would encourage you to participate. But also there are other platforms where you can find this, and YouTube is also a great resource to refine your portfolio. A good question. Please, could you walk us through the process of securing funding to build and resource your institution? This one. Should I tell you the truth?
Please tell us.
You yourself that wants to build an institution, what do you have? Because if you cannot pay your rent, you cannot eat, you cannot recharge your internet subscription, then that should be the last thing on your mind. Like, just put it down as an idea and put it in your book, right? That's the harsh truth. But if you want to be, I don't know, that's just step one. Step one is have something for yourself. And then if you're okay and you're doing fine and you can spare a little bit of the resources that you have to start to build something, then do it. How I started, for example, I did not start like some big institutions, or maybe some big institutions started way long ago, and now they've amassed wealth and people can donate and so on. So let's look at this. Who are we comparing ourselves to when we say build or resource your institution? Like, what is the standard? What is a standard cultural institution to you? Because my grandma, for example, I remember that she used to have a dance group in Anambra. Yeah, and maybe depending on the event, that time of Christmas, they'll all wear this uniform wrapper and they'll come out and dance, and then you see some masquerades and all. It looked very disorganized to me, but that was like some cultural programming that was actually happening, even though I don't see it like discussed in institutions or as, an art programming that, happens every other year or something like that. But that was real. And maybe to refine it, someone could go and step into that and say, hey, I would like to be your arts administrator, and we can plan this and we can engage more people and we can put tickets to it and do this and do that. Arts administrators are visionaries who see how to put systems in place for arts to not just happen haphazardly, but like to happen and happen again and happen again. And each time it's happening, to be mutually beneficial for the community that is observing, but also beneficial for the artist that is giving or serving through the arts, right? And hopefully beneficial for the institution that is organizing and the arts administrator that is planning and trying to curate the whole thing together. So what I need to understand what your kind of institution is, but I can give my own type of institution that I've started with so far. And when I compare it with, when I compare Kuta Arts Foundation, like I'm in the US right now, right? And I've been to a lot of art institutions. There's a big one right here in my school called Cranbrook Academy of Arts. And if I go to Cranbrook and I see like the space that they have and all that, I can't be thinking of that kind of resource because Cranbrook has existed for hundreds of years. So for me to get there, I need to understand what my goals are and what my objectives are. And when I go back to Kuta and I remember, oh, this is our focus at Kuta, and this is what we are doing, this is what our goals are. If I can just get us here, if I can focus on these things, then we're making progress, right? So and at the initial stage, we started just like how most I would say entrepreneurs or businesses start. You start by what you have. You start by strapping the boots or strapping your boots or whatever, paying out of pocket. I was earning maybe like 250K at the time in government, and I was just in my 20s, full of vision. I did not have a child or, I wasn't like hyper responsible for taking care of the whole world or anything. So I just I was always thinking about people and community. So when we'll start doing things, I could like take maybe 50K and give to this, 70K and give to this. And I spent it. It's not advisable. Like people really thought, some people still think that I'm stupid and foolish. Sorry for the harsh words, but it's just that it would not make sense to a lot of people seeing you kind of like do all that. It's like, what's the point? Like, don't you want to have a car? I did not get a car. I don't have any major stuff after government because all the money that I was getting, I was just kind of like, how am I supposed to pay people in a non-profit organization that is not making any money? Like, how? I don't. So I just started by like out of pocket. So I would not recommend that. Obviously, I've learned better now. And what I see more structured places to is, first you want to sit with the idea, but don't overthink it. Maybe start by organizing something. Just do something, just like how we're meeting right here. Just set up meetings, hangouts, something small. Find the one that will not cost you too much and do it often enough that you and document it. Document every single thing. Luckily for us, we're blessed to have like photographers in our community, and we take photography and videography very, very seriously. So that helps, that pays off, because when we are pitching to a donor or something or someone, we are able to say, this is what we've been doing, and this is what we're trying to do. So we're able to tell our ideas ahead and give them a good picture, but also show them what we've done. So I would say start by doing, participate, go have some experience with some other organizations, whether by attending or by volunteering to work for them or by working for them and being paid. And then when you see how you can replicate that in your own way, then you do it. For example, when I came to the US, one of the first kind of free thing I did for art organizing was in my building. I was organizing paint nights, just painting sessions, and like people would just come down and paint, and it was beautiful. It was like a nice way to engage people. I did it for some time and then I stopped because I realized, oh, I'm doing that kind of Kuta thing again, So yeah, do what exercise those ideas first, and then when you have it well put together, you can then invite people that you think can fund you to fund you. But the thing with this is, if you're waiting for funding to come before you actually do anything about setting up those programs, I don't know, except if you are some wealthy kid or very rich people who would definitely say yes to you, then there's no guarantee that they will say yes to you. So I'll say, have something enough to make use of the resource that you have. We did not have a space, so we went to a restaurant and said, can we use the back of your space? And while we are doing that, we're also going to be promoting your restaurant. And the restaurant actually became like a go-to for a lot of young folks, right? There was a time we tried to get a gig, we tried to volunteer or do some work with government. I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush. Oh, it's so annoying. But my point is, we always have something. We've used the skills of like social media, graphic design, photography, videography in exchange for funds that we used to pay rent for our space at some point, right? We've done all kinds of exchanges like that where we did not have the money, but we found a way to give a service to get some money. That's also something. So have resourceful people. That's also really, really good. And guys, the first thing you want to secure is not the money. The first thing you want to secure are your people. Who are the people? Like, when I say secure people, this is how I secure people. I would be walking down, like literally the first person that came on board Kuta met me in a kabu, like we were in a cab going to Abeokuta, and I was just scoping this guy. He was probably thinking that I liked him, but at that time my mind is never thinking about man. It's just like, this guy looks like somebody that is well put together. He seems like he will have sense. He looks like someone you can share an idea with, and he will be able to interpret that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started chatting with him in the cab. No lies, that is Coyote. Today he's like some top shots guy in a corporate space, but then he was just like this youth service skinny guy that I was talking to. And we became a thing, and then he introduced me to someone else who was at the time just working in a very junior level of an estate company, and that's how it starts. So find your people. I've met people who I just saw. The person who is working for us right now as our program manager, basically I'm here and people are like, oh, Benita, how is Kuta still doing so much while you're here? I'm like, because of the people, it's not me. So if you want to know like our secret weapon right now, God bless him, I'm going to put him on the spotlight. His name is Oluyomi Akinabe, right? Oluyomi. So this is Yomi. This is Yomi. Yeah, awesome guy. So the first time I met him, he actually reminded me just recently because I forgot. He said, like, it wasn't like he knew me or someone introduced him to me. I just saw him in church, at the church. Like, I just saw him and I walked up to him and maybe I listened to him after he spoke at the church or something like that. And I walked up to him and I tried to tell him about Kuta, and I invited him to participate in what we do. Literally. And that was like many years back, maybe like 17, right? And
Mm-hmm.
for like the first 3 years of knowing Yomi, he wasn't really involved in most of the things, but he's that kind of person that will just come, just observe, just observe. He does not have any arts admin background. He does not have he doesn't actually have like an undergrad background right now, but he's one of the smartest people that I know because he's just brilliant and he cares. To find people who share the vision with you, who can just tap into that idea, who kind of fill that gap with you, who can like sense it, like, yeah, we need to do something. It's like it's suffocating being in this space. Like, how can I be in this city and I cannot even like go where artists are, and like you need to be bothered by it. It has to bother you more than you are thinking about how there's no light. It has to be annoying. You just have to do it. And so you have to find people like that and find them like a crazy person if you have to, or do it in an organized, civilized manner by like putting open calls online. But I did it in a crazy way where I'll just like walk up to people, whether you're at the restaurant, whether you're walking on the street, whether you're jogging in the middle of a protest. I met people at the most random places, but I thank God for the gift of like seeing something in people, because you have to have something as a leader to start with. Now let me pause. One of the things that has shaped my mind around taking action and running with my ideas and making it into something is this. In 2015, the year before the year before 2016, before I did the whole Kuta thing was started, I got to hear this word, leadership. And the person who shared the resource with me, God bless him forever, he shared this platform called Global Leadership Summit. He shared Global Leadership Summit with me, and I started like watching their videos. I would listen to them year after year. He shared their old files with me and so on. And it just kind of became that thing that, when you get so motivated that you feel like, oh, we can do something, right? So it just kind of messed with my mind in a positive way, where it made me realize, oh, if I actually don't like something, I need to change it. Like, who says I can't? So I would actually really like to just make money and sit down and be great on my own. But when you're so bothered about things and you see that you can make a difference, then you go ahead and make a difference. And I saw myself being in a position to, not because I was in government, because I don't think government really helped me per se, but I think it made people see me as, oh, she's cool or something like that. And then they were attracted to me. But later on, they realized I'm just man, and it's just really Kuta, and it's really for you. And I think what it was is finding people, serving people. It's like, if you're about the people, if you take care of the people, they take care of the vision, they take care of the work, they take care of the things. If everybody on our team are well paid, well fed, well supported, thriving in their practices, and even if you don't have money, everything's not about money, find a way to take care of people. If they are well taken care of, whatever their needs might be, to the best of their ability, then when you say, guys, let's do this, they'll be like, sure, let's go. But you're like, they have issues to deal with, and you're like, oh, let's do this. They're like, please, I need to go and bury my dog. That's kind of how life is. So I'm moving on to question 3. I'm so sorry. But I felt like that's something that most of us would be bothered with on the long run anyway. Learn more about leadership and see how it empowers you, see how those lessons would empower you. Leadership, like take books, take audio, take YouTube, vlogs, whatever. Take more knowledge on leadership, take it in, and let that influence you positively and drive you, motivate you, and teach you new ways of interacting with your society and with your community. What is the place of artists in African societies today? Yeah, these are big questions. And number 3, what is the place of artists in African societies today? I think artists everywhere, we have a calling to be conscious, to be aware, and and to create no matter what. I think we have the capacity to make where there is a gap, where there is an absence, where there is a blank wall, and put something there. And I think we might not be able to answer all the questions, we might not be able to figure everything out, but we can make as a way of research, we can make as a way of figuring it out. Whatever it is, don't get so stuck in trying to find it out that you are not finding by making, finding by action, finding by doing. Of course, there will always be a period where you have to retreat and pause and learn and listen. But I think don't stop, you know, as much as you can, like go with the little that you can to make. And why are we social scientists? I don't know so much about that, but we are, I see us as social prophets of some sort. It's like I always say, if you want to know how a society is going to be in the next 10 years, listen to the loudest voices in that society. So whoever is so much in our space now, those are people who are looking at on Instagram all the time, like, wow, the whole country is just obsessed with them. Whatever they are saying, even if it's in their song or something, just know that they are shaping the mind of our future leaders. And that's most likely. So if you see women being abused, it's because we've digested a lot of content that you know commonizes women and makes women look like we can be beaten, and we've normalized it from watching Nollywood and seeing how men treat their wives and how women are like, you know, just this, you know, take whatever comes your way, and you know, or how like now I watch a lot of like Nollywood on YouTube out of boredom. Sometimes I watch Nollywood on YouTube when I'm homesick, and I see like there's this counter narrative, like women now being powerful and like men will now be having like random odd jobs. It's like no, let's not go to two extremes. It's like we can all be empowered. So the impact of that will be we might think that we're raising feminist women, but it's more like we're raising a society that hates men or like sees men as not needed or wanted, and it can be like that. So let's be careful about like the things that we're putting out, because we are creating a cycle for culture. And how can I develop the science of the social? I'm not sure about that, but maybe what I just said helps to answer that question.
A quick one, Benita, just because I know
Yeah.
you like you said you have only one. Mariam Diallo just on, and she said she had a question, so maybe it might be worth answering since she's online. She's on in the meeting. Her question. Okay, so Mariam, you can unmute yourself and ask. Mariam, I'm not sure.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm walking, that's why I didn't talk. But my question was more of I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my question was more about your journey as a non-US person in the US into the art community, because I know it's a big deal, and sometimes I feel like where we're from, we've been told that, you know, this is a very particular field, and there is not necessarily the fun to sustain yourself as a youth as you're going through a journey into art as an artist. So it's more about how did you balance the two between you made as a person, but also like what you wanted to do with your art in the US, basically.
Can I sit in your studio? I'm just making a call. Hi. All right. Thanks. So I tried to like leave my previous place, but I heard a bit of that. Let me just read it. Non-American in the art community in the US. I'm going to answer that question. If you want to play football, where do you go? You go where there's a field. If I want to swim, I go to a swimming pool. That's just how it is. If I want to be an artist, I have to find an art community. There's no other way. I have to find art materials to make art with, but like for me, it's always about the community as well. So I always have to find like a place to connect with and belong. And people can do that by like having residencies or being, or it's fine. You don't need to bend, like finding residencies or going to a school. For me, I started with school because that was like the easiest, not easy at all, and not cheap too, but I initially came here on a quest for building cultural institutions. Like I wanted to learn more about that. And so when I came here as a student in that's my first degree, in the Arts Administration and Policy program at the School of the Art Institute, right? And so while being there, just asking all these questions and learning more about how to be a better arts administrator for Kuta, it was great, but it's like I realized, oh, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing for Kuta, but I don't think so. Typically, like people who go through the course that I did, they go ahead and like work for galleries and work for institutions or like do all these other jobs. And it made me realize like, oh, I actually don't want to do all these jobs. Like, I just want to build them. I just want to, I'm not a very good finance manager or a very good program manager or a very good graphic designer or a very good, like I know a bit about all of these aspects that make the organization work, but I don't think I actually want to do one of them full time. My own is that I am passionate about making sure that that organization exists. It has money, it is funded, and we are going to keep growing, right? So that's that was, but then I realized what I really want to do is make art and photography. Like I want to keep doing the things, being my weird creative self and being able to be successful enough for myself that I can actually pay my bills. Like if my bills were paid and if I did not, and if I had all the money that I could have in the world, yes, I would make art, but most importantly, I think I would be like going around the world, like just connecting with other artists and art institutions and like building more spaces for like artists and young creatives to thrive. And like that would be my dream, like kind of mission or like work situation. But I just kind of came to my senses after, I was always in my senses, but I just came to this point where I'm like, so I actually, I can't, after doing this course, I'm not like trying to go and curate to get money or something like that, like, because I'm already doing Kuta full time and nobody's going to pay me for it right now. So I have to find a way to pay myself. And the only thing that has ever paid me is when I served with my photography. And so I just wanted to find a way to like move forward with that. So to your question, I took a photography, I'm on a photography course right now. So being here, of course, makes me meet other photographers, makes me meet other artists in my school, in my community. We go for exhibitions, all sorts. It's just one place to start. But you can't run out of art spaces in a place like the USA. It's everywhere, or like, it's easier to find on like, like in most parts of Nigeria where you feel like some people, you see some things, but you don't find like an organized institution. So I hope that answered your question. Yeah. Another thing I do is art something near me, on Google, just put art near me and see where it takes you. Or artist near me, or art near me, or art studio near me, or art residency near me, or art library near me, art something near you. And you might find something really close to you that you can explore. It helps me a lot. So I'm going to carry on with these questions as fast as I can and try to rush back to my class because I did not take like an excuse to leave. How do we heal as a community? This is an existential question. I'm not sure that Kuta has prepared me enough for that. Honestly, I struggle with this because our traumas are now collapsing on each other. For example, recent events that happened at a university in Abeokuta, where Kuta is based. So a girl was kidnapped and killed by her boyfriend or friend, who denied. He later got arrested. I think you guys probably heard about it. I think her name is Rebecca or Rachel. I'm not sure now, but she was kidnapped and killed, and he killed her and buried her. And rumors have it that he's done this for maybe 2 other people, like he's killed 2 other women in his life previously before this lady. And you scroll up after seeing that news and you see somebody else laughing with their dog, and you scroll up and you see another person has just died in Palestine, and you scroll up and you see how Trump and the US and Kamala Harris are like exchanging words on a podium, and you scroll up and you see something about Tinubu's policy, and how, of all things, it's the national anthem that needs to change. So it's so much. Our awareness about how devastating society has become increased. So we need to understand that this level of knowledge was not recommended, but we've kind of like signed up for it through access to information. Like, we know so much, and so that overwhelms us as empathetic people, because now you're like thinking and you're making and all these other things. So I don't know if healing ever happens collectively, same time, at once, as a community, but I think it starts with maybe acknowledging it. Like, I started this meeting by saying, what's the big elephant in the room? And that's just acknowledging that as much as we are here to like create institutions and like do all these amazing things, we are human, we break, we are fragile, and we're hurting, and we still have to level up and be strong and like go. So it's like, it's always constantly going to be this push pull, and that's how we go forward. But regardless of what it is, we can't stop. That's why we have to keep organizing and making. And it's in those moments where we meet as artists that we realize, okay, I'm not crazy. Can my fellow, when you see your fellow mad people, you say, all of us join with it. Now all of us they lose them. All of us they see get together. So it's like, that's like, community is very, very important. So it's in those moments that you're able to see, how are you doing? You come for an exhibition, but it's not just the exhibition that is happening. You're seeing this, your other artist friend that dropped some art piece the other day that you were thinking about. You're like, I like that piece. Like, tell me about it. How are you? And then we talk about the piece on the wall that we came to see, and we check on each other, and we hang out, and maybe play tennis sometime together, or go jogging or whatever. But that's where the healing happens. It happens in belonging, and having that reminder that we are not alone, as creatives, striving towards something. So what resources do we need for that? We need the resources of people. We need the resources of time, and the patience and dedication to the things that we are trying to like set up. What is my responsibility as a member of the diaspora for the healing of my people? When I thought of this question, I think what came to my mind was, I don't know if you've ever been in a family setting or an extended family setting where there's that one uncle or that one sibling that is always in trouble. They can't seem to take care of themselves. They always are running short of money. They can't pay their rent. Something's always going on with them. You really wish you could help them, but something is always going on with them. And you realize that maybe your significant other relative that's maybe like your mom, for example, is always thinking about them, all right? And you see that, this person makes this woman worry so much. But then on the other side, it's like, wait a minute, I'm kind of glad that I'm also not another reason to worry, right? I hope you see where this example is going, but it's like, be the member of the diaspora, be the member of the people you're concerned about that is actually healed. Take care of you and continue to strive to put yourself in a situation where you you can thrive and you can be the best version of yourself, and you can keep growing and keep giving the best that you can give. Because when you're able to take care of that, it comes out of the largesse of your wellness that you give to others, and then you can reach out to others and guide other people on how they can be healed. So that's what I can say. And if you cannot heal everyone, then on behalf of the people, be glad that you are one of them that is actually okay, that don't need healing. I think if they knew that one of us is okay, it would be good. So, but your responsibility first starts with you being a responsible adult, and then eventually you can reach out to others, I think. Yeah. How do you navigate balancing cultural identity with innovation in your creative projects, especially when applying for international grants and residencies? That's what I'll say. We're in a society that there's money, right? And I call it, sometimes can come in form of all kinds of incentives, and grants are incentives. And so for the first 5 years of you starting out applications, you notice that, this particular kind of people are getting these grants, but I'm not. These people that say this thing, they are getting these grants, but I'm not. These people that are doing this kind of work are getting this grant, but I'm not. It's called incentivization. And what you see is, let's say, for example, in the last 10 years, let's say there were only 200 people. This is just an example, only 200 people making work that was about climate change. Now, incentivization kicks in, and UN says they're giving 100,000 grants to artists. And this other organization, maybe Prince Claus, says they're giving 5,000 to artists on climate change. And Magnum says they're giving 10,000 to artists on climate change. And I'm not saying Naira, I'm saying like dollars or euros or pounds, right? And so you're like, okay, I don't really have any work on climate change, but I mean, so I can talk about climate if it's going to bring me some money. And so you start to make work in response to that. So that is when they say you sold your soul to the devil, you sold your soul. That is how it happens. Okay, so it's not like there is actually a meeting with the devil and you're selling your soul. It's when we actually cut down on our genuinity because of survival and because of chasing the money. And I can't blame anyone who does that. But I'll say, as much as you can, stay true to what you want to stay true to. But if you have to bend to certain grant music because you're trying to survive, then it had to be that for you. And hopefully you can redeem yourself and your original ideas when you're able to, because it's almost like being commissioned as a creative to do this kind of work, even though that's not the work that you're about, but you are being in service to these other ideologies and these other thoughts and these other movements. I hope that those ideologies align with your own values. At least you're being true to your values, right? If they do align with your values or they do not attack your values, then go ahead if you need that grant. But I would say still make space when you can to create your own your own projects that align with your cultural identity, that align with your, your authentic visions. Yeah. How can I improve my artistic skills and grow as an artist? What key qualities can help me secure artist residencies? Guys, please give me a minute. I need to send a message. And while I take a minute, does anyone want to cut in, say something? Am I flowing okay?
Guys, unmute yourself. Talk. I can see the emojis. I'm enjoying this so much. The responses to the healing and like responsibility. Your responsibility to others is actually first and foremost is to be a responsible adult. Like sometimes you forget that.
Yeah, if you're doing that, if that is all you're doing, like you're not the reason why your mom is like crying at night. Like that's great. That's like humanity thanks you. Okay, let's start from there. Yeah, let's start from there, and then we can now see about other people and other things. But that's awesome. So yeah, I'll be happy to listen if anyone wants to cut in to say something. But I'm also going to like just go ahead and run through the questions.
We don't have to as well because there are a lot of questions. I don't think we have to go through. I think I would say you know, skim through and then pick one more that you'd like to particularly talk about.
Okay.
And we can allow people in the room to come up with their own Q&As if they feel like there's something in their hearts.
Okay.
Their own questions, rather.
So for the question, as founders who have built successful arts cultural institutions, successful defined by who? Semi-question. What strategies would you recommend for an organization focused on diversity, inclusion, and celebrating unique creative and cultural forms of expression to engage our target audience and build a strong community network on a limited budget? What strategy would you recommend? Now, this is how I'm interpreting this question. It's like asking me, I want to cook spaghetti, jollof spaghetti, and I want the spaghetti to have beef, I want it to have more, and I want it to have fish. So we don't know what more, it means like stripes or something like that. Or I want it to have fish, I want it to have shrimps, I want it to have eggs, I want it to have beef. But I also want it to be juicy with enough tomatoes and some sprinkle of some greens, and I want to have a sprinkle of cheese, but I don't want it to be bigger than this size. And all I have to cook the spaghetti is 10,000 naira. That's what you're asking me, do it. You find your own strategy by doing it, by cooking it. Go to the kitchen, put the spaghetti on fire, organize people, organize diverse people, include people that might be excluded, celebrate unique, creative, and cultural forms. Find unique, creative, and cultural forms to celebrate and give them room to be expressed, and then we can work on publicity to reach your own audience. So if your audience is a particular area, your local community, maybe social media is not the only strategy you should use. Maybe you should also do like in-person outreach, right? And don't think too much about the budget. When the money finishes, that's finished. Don't think too much about the budget. Start by working with the little that you have. But all I'm saying is the strategy for people like us living in a setting like Nigeria, where I come from, you figure it out by doing, because the way it worked for A is not the way it worked for B. because we do not have an art ecosystem that is already structured, tested, tried, and trusted. We are the people, all of us on this group call now, we are the people that are to build it. So we cannot answer a question that we have not yet run through ourselves. So we have to do it and embrace all parts of the failures that will come along the way as lessons. And then we can now come together and draft a book and say, this is actually how it played out. And maybe the next generation will be able to answer this question more accurately. But all I will say is the strategy is by doing it. And then you figure out a better way, and then you do it again. And you figure out a better way, and then you do it again. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. So any other in-person question?
Yes, Elizabeth had a question.
Yeah, if your question is here and you feel like I skipped it and you really, really want an answer to it, please, please just signify and and I'll answer. Thank you.
Elizabeth, you can unmute yourself, please.
By the way, people, I also want to say that you find grants eventually for your projects, right? You find grants, you find open calls. And just remember that I said, like, documenting and actually doing the work is what will get you there. You know, don't come into this. Don't come into this if you've seen some grants and it made you feel like, these people get grants, so let me go and do this so that I'll get grants too. No, don't do it. The grant actually supports organizations that actually want to do arts organization. You understand? So if that's something you want to do, go ahead and do it. Do it with the little resource you have. Resource of people, resource of place, resource of community, resource of city, whatever resource available to you, do it. Document it and keep articulating your ideas. Attract the people that can contribute to the work that you are doing, that care about it as much as you do, or at least a little bit like you do. And learn about leadership. Learn about leadership, because that will shape you and drive you and give you lessons on how to interact with your community in a way that yields to action, right, and results. And when you keep doing this, the consistency of it, you'll be confident enough to present your grant well, and anytime you feel like you reach a tough spot and you're working on a grant, you've written a grant proposal or something like that, and you need people to like partner with or check in with you on something, feel free to I always get people who actually reach out, so feel free to reach out to us, fifehannigeria@gmail.com, and let us know the color of your problem, and let us know where you need support, and we could work hand in hand together. And if it's something that's bigger than us, we'll tell you. Yeah. So,
thanks for that.
Because Kuta has gotten a few grants, but the biggest funding we've ever gotten, we got just in the last 1 year or so. I don't know who told them about us. I don't know. Victoria's we're doing Arts Foundation. I don't know what concerned Kuta with Victoria's Secret, but Victoria's Secret, we were doing this amazing project that involved a tour, right? And they were working with some Nigerian artists. And so somehow they wanted to give back to Nigerian creatives, and somehow somebody mentioned them to us. I don't know who the person is. I don't know why. They just reached out. And I told them, please stop scamming me. We don't have any money. And they said, no, they're serious and they're real. So some good opportunities will come your way because you're actually in the game, not because you were able to write a really good grant. That's what it is.
Yeah. Elizabeth is going to type her question. She said she unmuted herself, but we're not hearing her.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Elizabeth.
In the meantime, Mary Lawani, just go ahead and ask. Hi.
Hi, good evening. So my question was about improving as an artist and positioning myself because I feel like where I'm at now, I feel stuck, and I think I to be able to get out of the box that I have somehow put myself in, and I don't know if residents without that. It's like a great process to learn from. Hello.
It was difficult to hear you clearly, but I heard you're feeling stuck as an artist, and then I heard creative process. Does that capture your
Okay.
question?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but there's background noise. So even as you're speaking, it's not clear.
Okay, sorry. So I said my question is around improving as an artist, right? And like how to position yourself or myself rather to get into an art residency, because I feel like right now where I'm at, I feel a little stuck, and I think like residencies to me, at least my idea of residencies is to like be able to do something different or like to grow from where you are. So I just want to know what the best way is to position yourself for
Mm.
things like that, because I have applied and the amount of no's I've gotten is very discouraging. So I just want to know if I'm doing something, what I can do better to improve my chances.
Wait, Benita, you're muted.
So Mary, here's the truth. Residencies want people who already have figured it out, who already their portfolio is great. Like you're not coming to the residency to really learn. Even though people who apply to residency say, "Oh, I'm here. I want to improve. I want to grow. I want." The people who are selecting are not looking for. Let me tell you, because most residencies want to be associated with successful artists, strong artists, artists who are doing great. Just some of us exist for emerging artists, and even that emerging artist will still be looking for the portfolio that is standing out among the emerging artists, because you do not want to present, if you put out work that looks like the artist is not yet seasoned, they've not gone through enough experience to like grow and improve in their skill, then you are telling other artists that you are an organization that is for, unfinished artists, or like artists that their skill level is not high. So if I am an artist and my skill level is high and I want, to look like a big deal, I will go to that other organization that said no to that person so that I can be among the best and have a big name. It's a sad reality, but it's true. So if you really want to grow, then don't be looking at residencies. You should be learning, like take yourself through school. Not, and there's masters won't teach you how to be an artist. Masters, they give you your studio. See, look, they give you an empty studio. They tell you make art. Yeah, that's it. I'm coming from my own studio. They tell you make art. I mean, of course, there will be resources. You can borrow camera. You can do this. You can go to the print shop. You can have access to some materials and all awesome. But you that are coming, you have to have gone through a school of your own choosing. Go online. If there's an artist that you like their work, feed your eyes with those kind of works. Don't be looking at. I interviewed some artists, right, that participated in our residency, and one of the things I noticed is some of them are studying only two artists, and their work is almost looking like that. And I'm like, oh, if this is your standard, if these are your heroes in the art world, you can't go far. You have to study your hero. You have to expand your research visually. You have to go out there, see more art, take more inspiration. Whatever it is that makes your life richer. If you're a person of faith, zone in and seek help from the higher realm and seek inspiration from the higher realm. I haven't figured it out, like figured it all out, but I'm still on the journey. We all get to be on that journey, but what I'm saying is residencies are not the place for you to learn, because nobody's going to come and hold your hand at a residency and say, this is how you draw. This is how you can refine your painting. Nobody. They'll just give you a studio and make a lot of noise about you, right? So your learning journey is really in the place of practice, right? And
Oh,
please feel free to reach out to Kuta if you want to like schedule like a consultation session for portfolio review or something like that. We sometimes organize events for that, especially like workshops for that. But if for any reason we need to have like a private consultation with you, we can do that. Don't be scared because I'm saying private consultation. Yes, I can bill you, but I may be happy that day and just do it for free and then I'll broke. But whatever, just reach out, ask for help, and we can talk about it more, right? So, but you're growing, you're being, this is you
yeah.
seeking growth. So you're on your way. We all are. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. All
I
right.
also want to add that, like,
Okay.
I feel as an in my own arts practice, I definitely had the same questions as you did, Mary, or as you do. I still do, because
Okay.
I often think of, like, well, I often thought of residencies as a place, because they say, okay, we're giving you time to explore yourself, time to
Mhm.
find your voice, kini.
Mhm.
So I'll be like, yeah, it's hard to find that time and that space. Just like with Sylvia in last week, she was like, yeah, that
Mhm.
sometimes you get some applications and like they'll just be like, yeah, I want the time and space. And really and truly, me, I was applying to things like, oh, I want time and space. Like, I thought it
Mhm.
was enough to just say I'm learning, and I'm like in the middle of all the other responsibilities I have in my life right now. I just don't have
Mhm.
the time and space to stretch myself as much as I want. So I say this to say you're not stupid, or you're not like, not stupid, but you're not, what's it called? Like, a lot of things are understated or unstated in the arts world, in this cultural industry, and you
Yeah.
learn by failing and by meeting other people who tell you, oh no, residencies, they are looking for these kinds of people, um, etc. Just wanted to put that
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's just the truth. Like, take art classes if there's a place down the street, or at a nice institution, depending on what part of the world where you are. Take art classes. If there are no art classes for you to take, maybe organize an art class and invite the
Mm-hmm.
teacher and invite other students to learn with you, and then do that art class again and again and be a student in it, even though you're also an organizer. Keep inviting,
Mm-hmm.
use it as a good excuse to attract the teachers to come and like teach other people, but
They
you're
call it.
also learning. So but there are some residencies. I think there's something what is it, Harmattan workshop, like
Mhm.
those kind of residencies that are more like workshops are also really good for like learning or refining skill. But art classes would have been ideal if we had more art classes, like, accessible to us back home. I learned a skill just last summer from an art class, and I'm using it this year in my work. So it made me realize what I've been missing so much. A lot of people here are very creative, but a lot of them have been going to like art classes like since forever. So yeah, it's not your fault. um,
Elizabeth's question, let me just
yeah.
read through real quick.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
dealing with guilt of not moving fast enough. Felt
Hmm.
I'm not looking out for grants, but my project is in its earlier phase, and I took a break from it at some point this year because of my 9 to 5. I've been reading a lot. I've been reading a lot. I'm only getting back into my project this month. In brackets, I started writing again, but I can't shake away the feeling of guilt of not moving fast enough. How do you handle slash manage this? And please let me know if my question isn't clear. Thank you.
The reality is you feel it forever. That's the truth. You always feel it. And the only thing that will reduce the feeling is when you actually start writing. So just see it as, an alarm that doesn't go off, to keep you remembering that you are actually a creative and you should write or paint or do whatever creative activity you use to express yourself. So, but guilt is not a good thing. So in my Christian voice, I'll say, tell guilt to get away, and and you know, take action. Be responsible for that side of you, because you could lose it. You could actually shut shut it down, and then you would not be bothered by it. Imagine if you were not bothered. You were just comfortable in the capitalism machine, right? So it's a good thing that you are bothered, because that's what reminds you to go and do something. Like, that's why we're all doing this. Otherwise, we'll just be like pharmacist or something. Yeah.
Shout out to
So
my so
what?
I did shout out to my pharmacist.
Oh, okay. Shout out to the pharmacist. All right. I always pharmacy is like the most random thing for me, so I always say that. I'm sorry, but it's actually a real deal. I
The
mean,
funny thing
yeah.
is styles. I see styles as like an intersection of the healthcare and arts and humanities industries. So healthcare people, you buy the space is for you.
Oh yeah. Awesome. I love healthcare people. We need you actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Still very, very strong. Like
guys, I want to say one last thing. I'm making a call because I'm looking out for other people who really want to like start. So this is not just a meeting that I want us to end, and like, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to start your art community alone, wherever it's. Kuta is actually currently looking to work with other creative leaders who want to be part of the kind of work that we do, and partner, collaborate, and just kind of spread our missions across the country and continent as much as we can. It's We're slowly getting there, but it's happening. And if you feel like you want to do this, you want to start something in your space, but you want to do it with an organization, you want to have that resource of like experience and some form of partnership working, I'll say let's like reach out to Nigeria@gmail.com and say, hey, this is to Benita who ran her mouth and said all these nice things. All right, here I am. Let's do stuff together. We are getting those calls and we are responding to them one at a time. Yeah, so reach out. You don't have to do it alone.
yeah.
Yeah, and Immaculata, thank you so much. I subscribe to your newsletter, and I just can't imagine. Like it's just so brilliant all the time, and I'm always like, these people are like on another level. Like, I'm not this smart, but yeah, maybe if I keep following, I keep reading, I'll actually fully understand everything, and like I would be as smart as well and as cool. But I just want to say, like, it's one of those things that inspire me when I see people writing. I usually say, like, if you ask me to have a superpower, like what superpower do I want to have, I would say writing. I wish I could write, because that's like one of our strongest arsenals as art organizers, as creative leaders. You go right, Shaggy. You write. You have to write for everything. So you have to write to articulate your vision. You have to write to invite people. You have to write to communicate to people. You have to write. You have to write for grants. You have to write. And you have to write to engage your community. So it's just you have to write forever. So I'm not the best writer in the world, but I'm always very, very, very blessed to have great people who also contribute to our writing pool. Yeah, thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for the newsletters, and thank you for organizing. And it's really lovely meeting you all. If there are some questions you still have on your mind and you want to reach out, the email is kutanigeria@gmail.com. I checked the email. It's on my speed dial. I will see it and I will respond. And if I don't respond, our savior will respond. Savior being Yomi. Yomi's on the call. Yomi, do you want to say hi to everybody? I've told them you are our hero.
Honestly, she
the
showed us
Kuta
everything.
champion, and I showed them
Thank
your
you so much.
picture. Yeah. So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
everybody should pray to have team members and like co-leaders on their mission with them, like Yomi, because it just makes life better. We can't do it alone. So
So
yeah, thank you all. I'm going to try and like sneak back into class. Obviously I can't sneak, but I sent them a message earlier. I was like, oh, give me a few minutes, but 36 minutes have gone. So guys, wish me well as I
we
try
wish
to
you
make peace
well.
with my class.
Thank you
Bye.
for the sacrifice. Thank you so much for
All
being here.
the best, Benita. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. I hope it's helped. Don't give up. Hang in there.
No, it
Do
did.
it.
It did. Thank you very much.
Also,
All
everyone,
right.
please feel free to stay if you want after Benita leaves. We can still talk. Like, it's
All
not
right.
the end. Okay. Bye, Benita.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.